maybe Wednesday now. Chicken sausages for tea it was. Yeah, I think they were right, actually, chicken and sausages. It throws your mind a little bit, but... yeah, I'll recover from that. Anyway, so, sanding blocks. As I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how I try and paint. Much better people out there, much better videos. Basically, you start with a coarse sandpaper, sanding, and then you get finer and finer, basically. That's the principle anyway. I had the car shot blasted, so I didn't, pretty much, well, all the panels are technically, scotched up as they call it, paint will stick to it. Already put the epoxy prime on, which is a grey. New front wings, roof. So most of the panels should be fairly smooth-ish, shouldn't need much filler. Got a couple of dings in a few places. The worst ones are the rear quarters where I've done a repair. I don't know if you remember, but we did a repair. Could have replaced the whole rear quarter, but I find sometimes a 6-year-old metal is actually better than the newer metals. If that makes sense. Doesn't really make sense. But anyway, I think we're going to spend the hour just sanding down the passenger rear quarter and see if we can get anywhere. And yeah, wait for everybody's advice. There we go. Some people may call this tons of filler. I call it a skimming. But yeah, definitely not as bad as I've done on some cars. Anyway, my trusty little cheap block. You're supposed to get like long sanding pads that fit on these, but I found they were very expensive and I couldn't be bothered. So I ended up just using these round ones that you get for the orbital sanders, and just put a few on. Bish bash bosh. That's what I do anyway. I might not put too many down the end here because I don't need to start scraping too much up here in my head anyway. So I'll use this to hopefully 80 grit to really just knock all the tops off, try and at least see what we're looking at. And yeah, I can't remember which I did on. I did on the red hot. I used this, I think. It wasn't too bad. It does its job. Just try to keep it flat. The trouble is when you do a small one, it's quite easy to create your own curve, especially if you've got a slide. Quite a vast area. So keep it flat. You really can't go too much forward. You can't dig in too much like that because it just, you're not doing that. You're just always keeping it flat. To be honest, I could mostly just get away with just one pad on the end, which I might just try to start with, and see how we go. But anyway, just lots of filler, lots of sanding. Patience is the key, I should say that. And as you might know, I don't have patience, so it's all good fun, this. This is where all the bodywork guys are cringing at what I'm doing. I'm going, oh, why didn't you do it that way? Oh, yeah, so it's getting there, starts anyway. The block, again, it just helps you. You can start seeing I've got a high spot there coming through because obviously I'm getting through to the metal there and I've got a very small high spot there. And then you've got some low patches where, you didn't even put enough filler in, scarily, or I just haven't sanded enough off, or didn't do enough panel beating to start with, or didn't replace the panel, blah 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 blah. We'd go on. While I was doing it, I did see a little sort of a long dent up here, someone scraped along it. So we're going to block that off as well and see if we can get some filler on that. So what I'm just doing is I'm just going to keep going, see how much we can take off, maybe tap some of the high spots down. And then yeah, it's going to need another skim of a filler. But again, it's where the professionals are at. One, they get the metal work pretty good anyway. Although I've seen a lot of body shops where they're no good at metal work, but they're good at filling. Put 2 inches of filler on, but hey, it looks brilliant. But yeah, good people are good at filling. You end up not, you just put a very skimming on, so you're not spending, you know, days sanding down. Time is money, isn't it, when you're sanding? It's just a waste of time. So if you can just put just enough filler on, so you just go over it lightly, but we're not all like that. So yeah, let's do a bit more. Block seems to be doing its job, and then yeah, mix up a bit more filler. Bit bug filler. Oh, I keep switching back on and off whether to record some of this stuff or not. I should just do it, shouldn't I, really, and just record what I do and take the abuse. So anyway, a little bit more filler, a little bit more, as you can see. I end up putting too much on all the time. Although I put too much on, but never enough in the right places sometimes. So you end up spending half hour sanding all back, and actually, oh, I've missed some. So yeah, don't knock good bodywork people. The reason they cost a lot is because it takes time. So I just like persevering and just doing my best. I've also seen so many people sitting there looking at their cars saying that they paid thousands of pounds for their paint job and they're not happy with it. You know, I'm not saying that maybe the people didn't do a good job, I don't know. But there's always good tradesmen and bad tradesmen. But I much prefer staring at my car thinking that's a shit paint job, but I did it myself. So that's how we live. Obviously, I plan on moving this on to an next owner, so I'm trying to do the best I can, but you know, it is what it is. Knock me down, whatever you want to do. Anyway, let that filler go off, and back to sanding again. Just showing you that you can see where I'm just sanding this bit down while I'm letting things dry off. Bit of 240 over the whole lot, trying not to go through the etch primer, because I think, as far as I know, filler primer is not really, loves really going straight on bare metal. So trying to keep the epoxy primer on there, but you can see where I rushed it and the gun was pissing about and I was just desperate to get it in etch primer after shot blasting. So many runs, which again, hindsight and stuff, being patient, you know, you don't do any of this if you know, but I've got runs, so I need to rub them out, but you know, it's just life. So yeah, you can see where I've just started to go over them with 240, and you can see the high spots are the nice grey colour, and then you can see the darker colours is where I better put the black on, and also the primer is just a bit dirty anyway over time. So yeah, you basically want to try and get it nice colour grey, and then you know you've got rid of all the high spots. You can see there, you see all the little low spots, which again, filler primer might cover quite a lot of it, but if you can get sort of the bulk of it off now, there's less to do on each layer you're doing. And it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. As I'm standing around, so if the light's not brilliant, yeah, you can see there, two little dark patches, two little more dings where someone's put something in. So again, a little bit of filler in that. You know, if you're really good, you could tap things out, but I'm not. They're very small, so I think I'd mostly end up doing more damage trying to tap them out. Yeah, so yeah, it just shows you. So you could leave them, but while I'm here, what I'll do is I'll leave a few, because you know, you could keep mixing up little bits, but you might as well sort of find a few dents and then fill them all at once. I forget how dusty this is. It's good fun, this. A couple of little Sturgis back, 240 over this side. Found a couple of little low spots. Get a little bit of filler on them overnight. Did the other two side, obviously, so yeah. We get there, we do our best, you know. Just saying to myself, you know, I'm not going to get any better at this unless I keep trying. You know, keep persevering until you fail. That's what I say. And yeah. Yeah, one day we'll have our own body shop or something like that, you never know. Got the seam strips to put on as well, so if we get to do the top coat in the next couple of weeks, it'd be good to get the seam strips on at the same time as well, like we've done before. They can be painted. I'm thinking about painting things like the hinges as well, which I was thinking about today as I was driving home from work. Trying to sort of paint these. Sort of getting them all green, if you see what I mean, you know, the bits that you can't even see. See, because you know, you paint them like that, look lovely. You open the door, and you might see the back's of that sort of thing. So I guess what you could do, what you ideally do with is painting it, spraying it, open it up a bit, get some more paint on some other bits, then close it again. You know, try and get as much paint on it as possible, but while painting it. So we'll just etch primer those, and I think, you know, yeah, we get a bit of filler primer on top of those, and we're doing the filler primer. We're just doing Vattel can etch primer on those, that'll be fine. And yeah, so I think it's just going to be a compromise. Worst case, I think what we'll have to do is just mix up a little bit of paint at the end, and, you know, you touch up the inside of the hinges and the best you can. I think it's always a bit of a compromise, isn't it, unless you strip them all to bits and then paint them individually. Unless there's some secret that I don't know about, so give me a shout. Is that YouTube going berserk? Oh, my daughter wants to watch Call the Midwife. Alright, I don't know how long the video is, but we've been out here a good hour and a half. Need to hit this even more, but this is the way it goes. For the next few weeks, you're gonna just see lots of poopy, sandy videos and me moaning about things. So anyway, have a good evening. See you tomorrow.